Hello, welcome back to Board Game Bananas, and welcome to another playthrough of the brilliant board game Spirit Island. This time I'll be playing as Shadows Flicker Like Flame, still very much on beginner level. The only thing that I've upgraded is that I won't be playing with the power progression cards. I'll instead be using the minor and major power decks as normal. But still very much beginner level, no blight card, no adversaries, no scenarios, anything like that. So if you are a beginner and you want to know more about the mechanics of the game and maybe a little bit about how you can strategize with this particular spirit, this is the video for you. If you are an expert on Spirit Island and you may very well know a lot more than I do, especially regarding this spirit, then by all means watch this video and please let me know what I'm doing wrong. I would love to get better at this game, so please let me know what I'm doing. Let's start by having a very brief tactical discussion about this spirit, Shadows Flicker Like Flame. So here we have the board for Shadows Flicker Like Flame and the starting 4 cards. A few things will jump out to you straight away. Firstly, we start by getting 0 energy per turn, unless of course we place more presence on the board. So early game of our growth options, this is going to be the one that we're going to go for because it gains us +3 energy, and it also allows us to place a presence on the board. With regards to our innate powers, it's mostly the first and the second level that we're going to be playing with. The first one requires 2 of the grey moon elements and 1 fire, and then you've got 3 moon and 2 fire. And if we actually compare those with the elements on our cards, you'll notice that all of them have the moon, and then these 2 up here, Crops Wither and Fade, and then Mantle of Dread, both have the fire element. But what's interesting is if we look at the other 2 cards, so this one here says that Dahan take no damage from Ravaging Invaders this turn, and this one allows us to gather up to 4 Dahan in the slow phase. So one very common tactic with Shadows Flicker Like Flame is that we play this card here to gather 4 Dahan into a certain territory, and then in the next turn, we play this in the fast phase so that the Dahan take no damage, and the Dahan are then able to wipe out Ravaging Invaders. If you get up to 4 in there, that's quite a lot, and you can do a lot of damage. You'll also notice these cards have a lot of fear on them, so we're going to be generating quite a lot of fear. But basically, we're going to want to be playing these, at least in the early game, to use our innate. And again, we need, so all the cards have the grey moon, but we need a fire element. So of these 2 cards, we want to make sure that we're playing one of them and only one. And basically, if I play one of these and one of these early in the game, then I'll be able to use my innate twice before having to reclaim any cards. Let's have a look at how all that works in practice. So let's get cracking. We're all set up, and invaders start by exploring the sands. So let's see. Already got a city over there. That's already getting quite built up. But there we go. Now, growth phase. What I'm going to do, as I said, I'm going to be going for this option here, which gains me 3 energy straight away. And I get to place a presence. I'm going to place a presence from the bottom track purely because that allows me to play 2 cards, and then I'm able to trigger my innate power. This early in the game, I mean, I just picked up some energy through doing this. I don't need more energy for playing these cards. Next question becomes where I want to place it on the map. So let me just have a little think. I'm actually going to be placing it over here because I want to tackle the town in this mountain area. Okay, the cards I'm going to be playing, as I said, I want to be playing exactly one of the cards with the orange fire element. Of the 2 that don't have the fire element, this one here, again, Dahan take no damage from Ravaging Invaders. Well, in this first round, they're not going to ravage, so that becomes quite an easy choice to play the card where I can gather up to 4 Dahan. And then of the remaining 2, I can either push a explorer and a town from a place where I have presence, or I'll be able to replace a town with an explorer or a city with a town. I'm actually going to go with this because I really like to tackle the town straight away turn that into an explorer, and then yeah, then I don't need to worry so much about that. That's also why I place my presents here, because this has a range of 0. So let's pay for those. They cost 1 energy each, so that's 2 energy going back in the energy supply. And then it's time for fast powers. Both of these are slow, but my innate power is, of course, fast. That allows me to gather 1 explorer from a land that is 1 array away from a sacred site. This here is a sacred site that starts as a sacred land. So I can gather into one of these 4 lands. I'm going to gather into here, and I'm going to gather this guy, because then it stops him from building here on the next turn. That was the fast powers. Now let's move on to the invader phase. Haven't unlocked any fear cards yet. Well, unlocked, not sure what the word is there, but haven't allowed myself access to any fear cards yet, but that will be relevant later on. Ravage, they're not going to do. Build, they are not going to build here because we've just removed that explorer. Over here, they are going to build a town. And then explorers are exploring in the jungles. There we go. Then it is the slow power phase. So let's have a little look at the board. Yeah, I am definitely going to turn this guy into an explorer, as this card allows me to do. I don't get a fear for doing that, but for playing this card, I do get 2 fear tokens. So let's take those, discard that card. And favours called due. Let's gather up to 4 Dahan, and this card is really good because if invaders are present and Dahan now outnumber them, I get 3 fear. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be setting up a Dahan counterattack in this land here, which is already quite built up, and there's quite a lot of things going on in there. So let's see, and that is a range of 1 from where I have some presents already, so I can do that. I'm going to be gathering in these 2. Let's see, yeah, and these 2. I'll leave this one in the jungle as is. Now, 4 Dahan, 3 explorers, that gains me 3 fear, which is already enough to unlock one of the fear cards. And there we go. Then time is going to pass, things are going to happen, things are going to restore, but there's no need to do that because there wasn't any ravage this turn. And yeah, next turn. So again, I'm going to pick this growth option here because it gains me more energy, and it also allows me to put more presence on the board so that I can either play more cards or take more energy. Even though I've only got 2 cards left in my hand, so this turn the maximum number of cards I can play is 2, I am going to grow from this one here, purely because in the future I know for certain that I am going to like to play a 3rd card, because then I'll be able to unlock level 2 innate and do a little bit more havoc there. I also get 3 energy for picking this option. Then the next question is, where do I want it? Well, this Concealing Shadows card, where Dahan don't take any damage from ravaging invaders, again, I'm setting up a Dahan counterattack here, so if I play this card on this land, the Dahan won't take any damage, and then they'll be able to kill the invaders on the counterattack. So I am going to place it there, but you may have noticed that when they ravage here, there's quite a lot more than 2 damage they're going to do to the ground. So this is going to take a blight. This presence is going to be destroyed, but it allows us to play this card and allows us to wipe out all of these things on the counter attack. So done that. Take some energy. Take 0 energy. Decide what cards I'm playing. I'm playing the 2 that I have in my hand, and that is the spirit growth phase. Sorry, I should pay for the powers. This costs 1, this costs 0, so let's pay the 1. Then it's the fast power phase. Again, these 2 combined do trigger our innate power on level 1, so I am able to gather an explorer. And obviously the best thing to do then is to gather out of, in this case, one of the jungles. Let me just have a little think. So I don't really want them ravaging here because I've got a sacred site there, and it's quite annoying setting all that up again. However, here there's already a Dahan defending it. Do you know what? I'm gonna... Well, Dahan don't defend the land, it's ready for a counterattack. I mean, I'm actually going to take this guy and move him into there. Why am I moving into this land? Well, because the Dahan are going to counterattack, and they have enough power to kill 8, and there is now 7 in there, so we're good to go. Then I'm playing this fast power, playing it on this land here, of course, so I'll just place a token there to remind myself of that. And then it is the invaders' turn. So first we're going to flip over the fear card. What do we have here? Isolation, terror level 1. Each player... Oh, this is brilliant. Each player removes 1 explorer or town from a land where it is the only invader. Oh, that's absolutely fantastic for us. So I can remove either this guy, or this guy. And in this case, because they're going to be building over here, I'm going to remove him. So through the fear card, I've actually prevented the other build over there. That's an absolutely fantastic fear card to get there. Okay, then they are going to ravage. Ravaging here does absolutely nothing because there's no invaders there. Ravaging over here is, of course, going to cause a blight. And I'm going to lose the presence token over there as well. Again, that doesn't go back on the board. That is then lost completely. They would be attacking the Dahan as well, but I've played the card to stop them from doing that. Then the Dahan are going to counterattack with an attack of 8 then. So this is going to be 3, which gets me 2 of those. 4, 5 is another one of those. That unlocks another fear card. 6, 7. And there we go. Well done, Dahan. Good counterattack there. Okay, can remove that reminder. That was Ravage. Then they're going to build in the jungle, except they're not because they're not there. And that makes it very easy to deal with the Ravage next turn because there's currently nobody there to Ravage. They're then going to explore... now, you notice how empty the island is looking all of a sudden. They're able to explore this because it's adjacent to an ocean, but they're not actually able to explore over here because it's not adjacent to an ocean or a land with a town or city. Even though there's already an explorer there and there's already an explorer in the adjacent land, they're still not able to explore there further. They need to have a town or a city to be able to explore further. And then after that, we are in the slow power phase. And I have a slow power card. This generates 2 fear, which is lovely. Again, I'm generating a lot of fear here. And I'm allowed to push a explorer or a town from a land where I have presence. Well, that's pretty easy. I'm gonna push this guy out of here, and I'll put him in here, even though there's a blight there. Then, you know, they're not going to build there next turn. So that is done. Then time is going to pass. There's nobody that needs to be healed, so that's fine. And then it's the next turn. I've got to say it's quite rare that after 2 turns the board is looking as empty as it is. There's currently 3 lonely explorers out there. And I'm also very close to unlocking the next fear card. I only need to remove these. And then I would win based on fear, and the condition being no towns or cities. I'm going to be taking this growth option here, so I can reclaim the cards that I've played, and I'm also going to gain a power card. In this case, I'm going to be taking a minor power card. So let's have a look at what we get. Do you know what? I'll just change the camera angle and talk you through the cards that I've picked up. So when gaining a minor power card, or a major power card for that matter, what I do is I take the top 4 cards from the deck, and then you make a decision based on what comes up. In this case, we will again be looking at the elements that we need for Shadow Flickers like Flames, innate powers. In this case, the moon is very good. This one has both a moon and a flame. This one has a moon. This one doesn't really have elements that are relevant for us. You've also seen that we don't really have a huge amount of energy with this spirit, so I'm very glad that 3 of the options don't have any energy requirements. This one does require 2. Do you know what? Looking at these, it feels like Lure of the Unknown is the best one. I can do it a range of 2, which is great because it's quite difficult to get presence on the board as Shadows Flicker Like Flame. It takes 0 energy. I can use it in the fast phase. The elements are very good for us, and what it means, gathering an explorer or a town can really be useful in helping to prevent builds. So of these 4 options, this is going to be my choice. Let me know though in the comments if you would have picked differently. Okay, so Spirit Growth Phase, I've just done this one here, Reclaim the Cards, gained the minor power cards, this lovely one here, Lure of the Unknown. Then gain energy, in this case it's still 0, and then I'm going to have to decide which cards to play. And this is quite an interesting one here. If my calculations are correct, I'm actually very, very close to winning. When this card gets removed, so basically when these 2 fear go down here, this card gets moved, the victory condition changes to no more towns and no more cities, which is something I already fulfill. So basically when I get 2 more fear, that is when I'm going to win. How can I get 2 more fear as soon as possible then? Well, in my innate power level 2, I can, well, firstly I can do level 1 as well. That's one of the cool things here, is when you're at level 2, you can still do level 1. So I can gather an explorer, then I can destroy up to 2 explorers, and I get 1 fear per explorer destroyed. So the idea has to be to get 2 explorers in the same place at the same time, one of which I can move during the innate. The trouble is, these guys are a little bit apart from each other. Actually, though, now I think about it, I think I'm overanalyzing this. I was planning to play the card I just picked up, Lair of the Unknown, gather this guy into here, and then with the innate, gather one of these into here, and then use it to destroy both of them. But I could also just play cards that satisfy that condition and then just destroy those 2. Do you know what though? I'll do it the way I was originally thinking between takes here anyway. So I'm going to be playing Lair of the Unknown, and basically I need to be playing 3 cards now that satisfy this condition. So I need 3 moons and 2 fire. This has a moon and a fire. Luckily, all of my cards still have moons, so I'm going to be taking Favours Called Due just because I like moving Dahan around in the slow phase. Not that I think it will get that far. And then of the remaining cards, this one isn't any use to me because I need one with fire so that I can activate the innate. And of these 2, it doesn't hugely matter. I'm going to go with this one though. The idea of replacing a town with an explorer isn't super interesting to me right now. So yeah, those are the cards I'm going to play. They cost 2 energy in total, so let's pay for those. And then it's the fast power phase. So yeah, Lure of the Unknown, I'm going to gather 1 explorer or 1 town into a target land that doesn't have any invaders. I'm going to go for this as my target land, and I'm going to gather this guy. That would also stop the build, which is kind of what I was thinking when I picked that card. Then yeah, then the innate power is also fast, so I'm able to gather an explorer and then destroy up to 2 explorers. I'm going to destroy these 2, of course, and I get 1 fear per explorer destroyed. These 2 go down. This is then triggered. The victory condition then becomes no towns, no cities, which is something that we do fulfill. So there we go. That's a win for us. I'm going to level with you here, gang. It doesn't usually go that well. In fact, to be completely honest, I think that's the first time I've ever won that quickly. It must be because of the camera and because of you guys that are watching. Thank you very much. But by all means, do watch my video playing through this game with River Surges in Sunlight. If you've seen both videos, I do hope you see that the game plays very, very differently with the different spirits. And that is one of my favourite things about the game. With River, we were very much trying to focus the explorers towards the coastal lands and then attacking as many of them at the same time, the same place as possible. With Shadows Flicker Like Flame, we're very much going through fear, and we're trying to generate fear and basically pick off explorers before they have time to build, and therefore we handle the ravage. If you can move an explorer before they have time to build, then they also don't have time to ravage, and then it's just one explorer. You don't have to deal with an explorer and a town or something like that. I'd love to know what you guys think. If you play this game a lot, again, I would really, really like to become better at this game, which feels a strange thing to say after winning that easily. If it always went this easily, I would absolutely start bringing in adversaries and bringing in blight cards and things like that. I can promise you it doesn't. But yeah, I'd love to know what you guys think, and yeah, let me know if you'd like to see a playthrough of other spirits as well. But in the meantime, take care, goodbye, and hey, long live the Daham. Goodbye.